One of the biggest, most factors that held back people from coming to the masjid is their guilt. Maybe because they did something wrong, or they're engaged in doing something wrong that's not religiously allowed, and that holds them back from coming to the masjid. And this idea is so this thing is so devastating for especially young people, that they never come to the masjid. Even for people like they stop coming to Juma prayer. Sometimes it's that bad. And when you go, I spoke to so many people about this. When you go down to the root of the issue is guilt. Is that I had this expectation out of myself, and I was not able to meet it. I disappointed myself, and now I feel guilty. Maybe I set a goal to myself that I'm going to pray 5 times a day, or this Ramadan I'm not going to do this haram thing, but then I did it, and I feel guilty now. So, you know, I don't know the best way to deal with this. I guess to give people an insight as to how that thinking is so wrong Islamically, because the masjid is not a place for somebody to be perfect. And first of all, none of us are perfect, right? Um, every single one of us sin one way or the other. If we were to guilt ourselves and think that I have to be this perfect holy person in order to come to the masjid, that would be nobody would come to the masjid then in that situation. Uh, it's important to realize that the masjid is not a place for people who are holy. We have this idea that, well, that's true, because every time we go to inside a masjid, we just see some uncles, they got their topi and they're wearing the traditional garb and just sitting there and just doing zikr. So I see where that idea comes from, but you know there are masajid, okay, in across the United States. When I went to, okay, there's a lot of young people that are there, and these young people not necessarily are practicing or 100% committed to the religion or anything like that either. Or if you go into an MSA room, for example, you'll see people of all different religious levels. These are people. Some people are very practicing. Other people they're probably even cursing inside the MSA. So that flavor needs to come inside the masjid, that anyone can come into, just like they go to the MSA room. Anybody should be able to come into the masjid and feel comfortable in there. I want to give some incidents from the life of the Prophet ﷺ. There was an incident where a man came inside the masjid of the Prophet, and he really started to piss. He went to the corner and he started pissing, and the companions were to jump this guy. And Prophet ﷺ, stopped them and said that, let the man finish. And, after he was the way the Prophet ﷺ dealt with the guy, even imagine in our own, our own masjids, local masjids nearby. If some guy came into the masjid, even with his shoes on, we're able to jump this guy, So, call the cops, this guy came into the masjid with his shoes on. But at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when somebody came inside the masjid, even to the point that some guy's about to piss, Prophet ﷺ didn't flip out angrily on him. He literally said to the companions, let the man finish. And then when he was done, he explained to him in a beautiful way that, look, we pray here, this is not the place to do that, and everything like that. And he was so amazed by the manners of the Prophet ﷺ, he literally became Muslim. So, that just goes to show, how Prophet ﷺ was towards people who are coming to the masjid, versus us now, where I remember some kid came into the masjid and then he has an earring on, and people are looking at him he's a devil. That stuff got to stop, man. I'll give you another story. There was a companion who used to come inside the masjid, and he used to be drunk all the time. He had a drinking problem. As a lot of the companions, okay, they used to have drinking problems. These guys used to be highway robbers. These guys used to be players. They were some of the worst sins that you can think of in Islam. They used to be engaged in those stuff. But when Islam came, obviously they changed up. But the point is, there was companions who were still struggling with drinking, some of their old habits and so forth, right? So this companion came inside the masjid, and then he used to be drunk and used to come into the masjid. So and the Sahabas, when they saw, how do you think the Sahabas reacted when that guy used to come inside the masjid? He felt welcomed. At the end of the day, okay, even though he's drinking, and you're literally in the vicinity, literally at the time of the Prophet, you're coming to the masjid of the Prophet and you're drinking and you're drunk, to the point, and then it came to the and then after that, what he would do is that he stopped coming to the masjid drunk. He would, basically, like, take his bottle, and then he would, like, leave it outside the masjid. So, but the thing is, okay, the companions welcomed that guy, okay, to the masjid as well, and we need to bring that back, really. Okay, I think so many people are just afraid of coming inside the masjid. They feel guilty. They feel like somebody's gonna judge them. That gotta stop, man. Okay, just wanted to leave it at that.